So I wanted to cover a few ways to be tanky, even though you're not tanky. And by what I mean by that is like an energy shield build. You're really not picking up armor. You typically don't have a lot of room for dex or evasion or dodge because you're focusing a ton of passive trees for int and energy shield. But this even counts for any build really. One of the most overlooked supports in the game at times is blind. So applying blind to enemies basically reduces their chance to hit you by 50%. So basically it takes all the rolls for attacks and multiplies it by a 0.5 on its ability to succeed. So right there you're basically just picking up 0.5 on your evasion. Now, as it says, what's basically happening is it's taking your chance to evade. So it's taking a guaranteed 100%, taking your chance to evade, and then taking that roll and multiplying it by 0.5. So it's not a guaranteed like immediate 50, but if you had 0 evasion, it's kind of basically 50%. And then if you have a bunch of evasion, then it's taking whatever's left that is missing out of your evasion cap and then kind of multiplying that by 0.5. So if you had like 50% chance to evade, then it's multiplying that 50% chance to evade by 0.5, so it's giving you another 25% chance to evade on top, so you're getting 75% evasion, even though you only have 50% evasion. So it's super strong, but a lot of people don't like to take and use a slot up for it, a jump slot. A lot of builds don't need it because they're just plowing through stuff so fast that it doesn't even have a chance to attack. But if you do need some defenses, it's super great to do. And with Stormbrand, usually in the past I was applying blind with Orb of Storms. It's a little hard to position Orb of Storms. With Stormbrand, there's no positioning. You just plop it right in the middle of the pack. It kind of does this little mini arc, and everything becomes blinded. So boom, 50% evasion. I'm not even trying. Now granted, there's always rolls and all that other fun math behind it, but in essence that's what you're looking. Now of course, supportive skills have 10% chance to blind. Doesn't sound like much, but typically you'll see in a minute that things like Stormbrand, Orb of Storms, where they're hitting a whole bunch of mobs, everything's getting blinded. My setup that I almost always run is like a Stormbrand or Orb of Storms, blind, curse on hit, and then whatever curse I want to run. Like in this case I'm running Frostbite. And then if I 5-link it because I have it extra, which usually you don't, unless you're running like a 6-socket or you have a helmet that's taking care of that for you as far as adding pre-building things in. Typically that's when I add the Culling Strike to it, just as an extra piece of benefit to me. Don't have to. So the Stormbrand will be blinding and cursing the pack. So let me just find a quick pack here and show you. So we toss it down, if we hit the right button. So we can see it's cursing, and it's a little hard to see the little blind cloud above their head. Let's see if I can find something. I should have picked a... Yes, see the little flashy dot? That kind of sparkle?
God's judgment awaits.
Above everything. There you go. We haven't hit a big pack.
What I can do?
So as you can see, anything that hangs out for a few seconds gets like a hit or two is blind. And we just keep flying it. Piece of cake. So that's one way. The other thing that we can... Alright, let me just do this. Knock these guys out real quick.
Cold-blooded betrayal.
If you think I'll talk, you're sorely mistaken.
Keep your word or lose your head.
So the other way we can become defensive is that a lot of people overlook is Frostwall. Frostwall is super great at being defensive from ranged attacks. It can be a little bit of a challenge when you're in melee because it's going to generate a wall you can't go through as well, which is why you gotta have a quartz flask on you just for those oh crap moments. When you phase, you can phase through Frostwall. But the nice thing with Frostwall is if it's a projectile attack from, let's say, an archer character or a ranged attack, the Frostwall is not generated in front of you when you get hit. It gets generated at what attacked you. So I have it set up on a cast when damage taken. Set up with my Immortal Call and the Frostwall here. So let's see if I can get this guy to actually hit me maybe. Because it'd be great if he could. So right there, perfect. See how the Frostwall was generated where he's at? Now two things has happened. He's got stuck, so his AI went all nuts on him. That happens a lot, meaning the AI doesn't know how to react to that barrier except for trying to go around it. See if it'll generate again here, if it'll hit me, maybe. So pushes him back, he immediately starts trying to walk or figure where he can attack through it. So when you have a huge pack, that becomes very disruptive on the pack. So let's find something, maybe. So yeah, as you can kind of see here, here's where that flask becomes important. Because we can just run through it, but now they're all stuck and hung up trying to figure out what to do. So it really screws with paving, but what I find is the biggest help for that is what you'll run through is you'll end up running into a large pack of ranged mobs, and they will basically hit and mow you over before you even know what happened. So let's see if we can find a good example. Probably won't in this entire map because of the way it's rolled. So right there, so I've 5 monsters are pretty much out of commission because one of them did manage to land a hit on me. So yeah, that's a huge thing. Because of a change a while back, because we were all abusing it with Lightning Arrow and Kinetic Blast, our attacks, our arrows, our ranged attacks, everything we have goes through Frostwall. It no longer blocks our attacking. There we go. That's kind of a good idea. So these guys in the back are trying to shoot, really can't. These guys are trying to figure out how to even get to me. A few of them are getting some AoE splash. They're being basically just held back, and I'm taking very little to the amount of damage. So it's just another way, along with our blind, that when combined together, basically, let's see if we can get this guys to trigger. So see, now these kind of guys are all out of commission and can't do anything to me because of Frostwall. And then if I simply lay blind down, well, if it doesn't instantly kill him because I'm on a low roll map and my character is too strong for this map, I just needed something to where I could show. Between the Frostwall blocking, interrupting, pushing monsters back, which screws with their paving or their path to us, blocking large packs of ranged from coming in, and preventing spellcasters to getting through a lot of the stuff. Then adding on top of that, meaning we're blocking a fraction of what their attacks coming in are from the Frostwall, and then we're blinding what does come in to have 50% chance less to hit us. You end up taking a significantly reduced amount of hits across the board. And it's really just kind of 2 extra gems from what you normally do, because you gotta have your cast when damage taken, your Immortal Call most likely, they're almost guaranteed on 90% of the builds. Plop a Frost Wall in for that cast when damage taken, boom, now you've got extra layer of defense. And then on cursing, because we're gonna do something that curses for us, or we're running blasphemy, which it's a different story. But if you're doing a curse on hit, then you definitely want to plop a blind support in. Completely worth that gem slot for protection reasons. Thanks for watching. Just wanted to kind of give that overview of how to boost yourself to be extra tanky without actually being tanky. Please like and subscribe.